Hi, everybody. I just wanted to make a quick transmission. We'll see how well I'm able to make the transmission because it's very much about symptoms that a lot of people are feeling right now. And I just wanted to land us into the astrological space that's holding this. Because, yeah, I think in the last few days, I'm making this on the 20th of July. And in the last few days, a lot of us have been incapacitated. And in fact, anybody we've spoken to is feeling wiped out. A lot of people are having pain behind the eyes, stabbing pains in the head, nausea, stomach issues, lethargy. I wasn't able to speak in the last few days. I have had no memory, and almost to a funny degree. But having to say what's the last bit of the sentence. And today I think I had a cup of coffee, which isn't that normal. So that's propelling me to speak to you here. So I just wanted to speak to this a little bit. Because in the days before people started to have these very physical symptoms, some people were noticing that they were going into a process with old addictions. And how I feel that this is manifesting is that we are purging something very old, and we're also in a very deep spiritual transformational container, because actually if we were in our most divine essence, we would just be plugged into the divine, and we wouldn't need to be conceptualizing things, to be thinking, to have a memory, because we just plugged in. But I think in the Western world and the contemporary world, we're programmed to think that we have to be thinking and analyzing all the time, and therefore we feel very broken when we have no memory. And actually, last night I was watching a video just about a saint, and this saint had, from a very young age, people used to think there was something wrong with them because they had no memory and they'd just be plugged into the divine, and they're just kind of there in communion. And at first people thought this person was too simple, but actually the simplicity, they realized, was this beautiful, beautiful gift of them being able to just be in rapture with the divine all the time. So just really wanted to say to you that what happened on the 25th was that in the dream spell calendar, we went into the day out of time. And certainly people were starting to feel these symptoms around then. And then on the 26th, we entered a new galactic year in that system. And while that was taking place, we were also in the last days of Ketu and Mars being together in a very deep purgative space. Okay. And I think that on a karmic level, past life level, some stuff that's probably beyond words has been rising through. It was almost like K2 and Mars wanted to get their mileage out of us. And so a lot of people have been put in a strange holding phase with these kind of spirit hangovers. And I just want to say this is something to celebrate, even though it may not feel very nice. So the energy of the new galactic year is resonant seed, and resonance is really about this whole chapter of, we've had a big dissolve so far this year, and a lot of people have been slowed down, a lot of people have had lots of course redirection, and this is all again serving a purpose. And then there's been this purge taking place, and my feeling is that this is very necessary because we're also going through a purification of old ancestral programmings of very weird codependent partnerships, karma relationships, things that have been wired around delusion and fantasy in relationships. And there's something that needs to change. There's this whole concept. It was funny, while we were feeling like this, a post from 2 years ago that we made about the importance of dharma dating, not karma relationships, and trauma bonding came up. And we were in our holding phase, but at the same time we were also talking about, we're going to do 2 quantum transfiguration sessions later in the month. So get in touch if you'd like to be on this journey. And what the first one is going to be to purify these old patterns that are legacies, shards from our ancestors, which meant that people programmed themselves to be wired on just carnal instincts, fantasy realm, weird levels of compatibility that are not spiritual. And so we're going to do the first as a cleaning, and the second we're going to really look at some of the wonky things that people do in relationships, because we're watching a lot of people go back into the soulmate twin flame thing, and everybody's publicizing their new relationship like they're in Hello magazine, and this idea that, oh yeah, we're all coming out as celebrity partners, and some really weird stuff that's playing out. And actually, what's happening in a few months is that this strange relationship energy is also completing a purge. So we're going to do some work around that. And what I feel that's happening is, as we're coming into this resonant tone, those things that are in us that are by codependent trauma bonding are somehow coming out of the body and the being in a necessary detox. Okay, because then we really want to become these beings of resonance. And what's interesting as well is that when we talk about the seed in the galactic Mayan calendar, its counterpart, its formation point, which is in the Mayan calendar, which is the symbol of cat. This is all about nets and burdens and letting go of a lot of the burdens that we've carried. So this is often what arises as addictions, as codependent relationships, wonky patterning. And it's interesting because so many people got in touch on the 25th, as we were on the day out of time, about, oh, these addictions, I'm in a process, but I know I'm coming somewhere with this. So whether or not you're feeling a flare-up of addictive patterning, the fact is that a lot of people are feeling these spirit hangovers. And this is often a sense, we've learned over the years that often this means that we're doing very deep work in the dream time as well. And it's almost like whatever residues we've been clearing as a collaborative field, it's almost like the cobwebs and the dirt get stuck on us and we wake up feeling almost toxic. So I think that there's a tremendous amount going on in the dream time, in the etheric realms, and our light body is going into a purification to let us be these new beings who come into this new collaborative energy. And this is all giving way to what's going to come up for the eclipse season, where Leo and Aquarius are really going to be pummeled in some way. And so this is all about collaboration, leadership, rewiring leadership, moving beyond the ego and the vertically organized leaders to this more collaborative energy. So there's stuff that we all have to clear, the debris from past programming, from epigenetic wiring. And I think that this is what's taking place right now as we dream, as we start to activate into the energies of this new vibrational year. So if this resonates with you, please do consider coming to our Quantum Transfiguration sessions. You can come to the first one, or you can come to the first one and the second one together. And also, we are really excited that we're soon going to be launching our new Abundant Stability program, which is really helping people to understand how to reframe working with trauma, how to reframe working with the body, and understanding some of the sacred sciences around some of the key planets and how we can spot that or get assistance to spot that. And really, it feels like we're supposed to go into a big fast track. All of this year up to now has been lots of curveballs and slowing down. And it is, of course, a cosmic principle that we have more process to come because we're going to go into eclipse season. But the month of August is starting to give us a possibility of these new relationships, these new communities, and then there's more tweaking taking place. Plus, we also have Mercury and Saturn retrograde at the moment, which is again causing us to slow down and revisit certain things for the greater good. So our ARTA program is part of a huge program that we are now going to be really streamlining everything we do towards. And this comes from observing so many people just looping around the same patterning, the same principles, and this confusion that's around this idea of what is spirituality, that seems to get often confused as to having a comfortable life. Okay, and actually that's not really what spiritual liberation is about. And we have decided to really come out in terms of what is our cosmic agenda, and we really want to help people who are serious about reaching a higher essence of human, who's going to help to bring forward a golden age, a new earth, an Aquarian age. And with that, we need to start to talk about this concept of spiritual liberation, and liberation from samsara, liberation from the constraints of trauma karma, and these trauma relationships and karma relationships that have governed our societies. And so we're really calling forth people to come onto our taster course. And then we have mentoring available, all sorts of magical things to really help people move onto their path with one-to-one support, personalized for each person. And we have many, many more things to unveil. And yeah, we're serious about this because we're just watching people go round and round and round, spending a lot of money going round and round and round. And it's time to really be fully truthful about the fact that we are all these beings who have this divine essence, and that if we really truly step into that, the world will be a better place, and we will be these beings of light and these emanations of cosmic awesome grace. Okay, so if this is speaking to your soul in some way, it's just to let you have a few little droplets as you purify. And yeah, those of us who are purifying and feeling this right now, I just want you to set your aspirations as you suffer a little bit into knowing that this suffering is a gift, okay? And that something is going, something is leaving, something's cleaning. And to just know that whilst you might not be very functional right now, this is lining up to a whole new way of being and collaborating and manifesting good new people in our lives. So I want to give gratitude to the day keepers of the Mayan lands, to Jose Arguelles and the Dream Spell Calendar people, and to the Rishis, the celestial bodies, and Ganesha, the patron deity of Jyotish, the science of light. Gracias, gracias, gracias.